Amigos, welcome back to El Cuarto de mi Suegra, where we gather as friends to discuss our daily lives y chismear un rato about our favorite artists. Amigos, guess what? I have a special guest with me today, and I'm so excited because I'm so ready to chismear about life and things. But today, I am joined by mi amiga, Miriam Cislo. Welcome to El Cuarto de mi Suegra, amiga.
Gracias por tenerme aquí.
You need one of these.
Oh, I love it.
I am so excited. So I actually, a little background story. I met Miriam through the Latino Community Foundation Giving Circle.
Latino Giving Circle.
Yeah,
yes.
that I posted about a couple months ago.
About a month ago.
We met. It was my first time. I was invited several times, but this is the first time I was able to make it. And it was just perfect. I met so many amazing people, and that's why it's so important sometimes to like get out.
Exactly.
Because sometimes, sorry if you hear noise, but this is, I don't know if you can tell, but this is a new location, so I'm very excited. But I don't think you can hear it, but I'm just being dramatic. But anyways, so it's so good to get out to community events because you get to know so many people, right?
Yes.
Like, well, encerrada en la casa, what is going to happen? Nothing. You need to get out in the community and be part of your community. So I was very excited to meet Miriam. Yeah. We're going to get to know her together because this is kind of like us hanging out for the first time. We spoke in the event, but it was very brief.
Yes.
And we're talking about more about what the Latino Community Foundation does, which is amazing work. So we're going to get to know Miriam today because she is a life coach.
Yes.
That's a description.
Yes.
And she will tell us all her details, and she does like this whole energy reading.
Intuitive work as well.
So we are going to find out everything because we all need life coaching in this life, and we need I am a natural.
Good energy.
I'm a natural energy reader, aka very judgy.
I can tell.
I'm a very judgy person.
Extreme reader.
Yes. I can read your mala vibra right away. But we're going to get to know it and a little bit more professional about what is all this about energy and why it's so important.
Yes.
To know your own energy as well. Like when I sometimes say like, I feel like my energy is off. Whatever that means. I just feel off and I'm like, my vibe is not good right now. Let's just not be around people. So we're going to get to know all that. But Miriam, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Is this your like first podcast or you done podcasting?
No,
before?
this is my first one. So thank you so much.
I'm so excited. Hopefully it's not a little bit of a mess because like I said, this is a new space, getting to know
so far space. So good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad because, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I was telling Miriam before I started recording, I was reading the little chisme of the week and I noticed Kris Jenner turned 70, the momager of the Kardashians. And I was telling her, like, do you know a little bit about chisme? She's like, I'm not that. I'm the chismosa. She's not, clearly. But I was like, I feel like it's crazy, first of all, that this lady's 70 and she looks great.
Right.
But I talked to record about because I was being a little hater because I was like, well, she looks great because she has work done, you know. But she made a comment of how, like, she's aging gracefully, and then I was like, "Well, is it really gracefully? I don't get it because I mean,
the exterior,
right?
Look.
I mean, to me, aging gracefully is to feel good about yourself, right? And whatever stage of life you're in, like in this case, like age. It's okay to take care of yourself. Like I'm not against none of that,
right?
But I just think like it came across like the wrong way when she did the article. Because she had just did a whole facelift and then she was like, oh, I'm aging gracefully. So that didn't make sense to me.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. You know what? I looked briefly at a picture of her and I couldn't tell if it was like AI or if it was actually like a facelift. But I could see when she's saying about aging gracefully that she still has like the energy to continue to be creative, to take care of herself in different ways. And to, so I can see that aspect of, her.
Good point. Yeah.
But I get what you're saying as well.
Yeah. And, it's so funny because I did get comments. They were the same, point of view as yours. And I was like, Oh, okay, I get it. I was thinking about it more like, I guess because she had just gotten the work done, I was looking at it more like, well, how is that aging gracefully if you just got like a whole new face? But I get your point of view too. That makes sense. Where she and don't get me wrong, I already said, like, when I turn 40, you might not recognize me because I am turning into Bombón Asesino. That's gonna be my.
Oh my gosh,
but I'm not saying I'm aging gracefully. I'm saying the truth. I'm gonna be. Somebody new.
I used to say the same, and then you get older, and then you're just like, I don't know if I want to go through all of that.
I know, that's what I'm saying, and that's a good point because I'm over here just saying all this nonsense, and I know that I'm not going to do none of it. Also, because I just love the simple stuff. Like, you give me some good food and a good drink, and I just want to be in pajamas. Like, I don't want to be. Not that I don't want to be young forever, but I just want to be okay with whatever stage.
Right. And not having to worry about all that or getting ready. See? You know, I get what you're saying.
Like, right? I'm pretty grateful. Like my hair, I don't have a lot of grays yet, but I do know a lot of friends they do. And they're like, have to dye their hair all the time.
It's work.
And I'm like, I get it because when I get a lot of grays, I will be dyeing my hair. I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, that is so much work for women all the time.
Right.
Or like, oh, your skin, like you getting a lot of wrinkles. And I'm like, what had wrinkles since I was like in my 20s? I think that's just generics. But also because I do a lot of face expressions. So I think I have a lot of wrinkles.
Same. Now I'm just realizing all of the
you have
times
great skin, though, let me tell you.
Thank you.
You do have really good skin.
But I'm trying to take care of my skin now. But it's anyone that's listening, please start early. Early on is what everyone says, but we just don't do it.
You know, my mom was pretty great. Like, I feel like she was always like sunscreen. Like, she was like this crazy sunscreen lady, and I was like, sometimes I was like, or they'd be like, oh, Vaselina, like when it was like winter. Or she was like, put like, and my mom knew a lot about like skincare. She would do like her own little mask. She would do like their oatmeal with like coffee, yes, and then honey. And she would do that mask. My mom was great on all that stuff. And then we do like the mayonesa con huevo in the hair.
I did that once. It's so bad, the smell.
Oh, it was horrific. But I did it since I was young. So I think this is why I have so much hair, though. I haven't lost a lot of hair. And I did a lot of like hair dye in my hair. But I mean, all those great tips, you know, I think it's important to take care of yourself. I'm not saying not to, but what I was getting at is that I'm like, oh my gosh, I am already turning into my mother because I feel like todo me molesta. And I feel like I'm in that transition where, like, for example, I'm walking down the street and I see graffiti. And before I thought it was the coolest thing. Like, oh my gosh, expression of art.
Got it.
So amazing. Like the graffiti, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so talented, very artistic. And now I'm like, estos chamacos, porque no se pintan el trasero? You know, like, I get so mad. And I'm like, why am I mad? But I guess it's just like, I'm not saying graffiti like in buildings. I'm just saying like in the bridge or something. But I still get mad. Or or like I'm like that neighbor that I'm like, okay, can you like control your dog? Like, why is he barking? My dogs bark too, but I'm pretty like, I get so stressed out when they start barking. Yeah. But then some people that just don't care and they let their dog bark all night. That's so like rude.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
But you know, like before I didn't care. I mean, and I had a baby.
Perspective, I think now that we are just looking at things in a different lens. And I think we just start complaining about little things.
Or am I like turning to this grumpy lady? Because let me just say, I went to baptism on Saturday. And I was like, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Okay, the priest is telling you, you know, like, please, like, telling you what was going to happen. And is saying, you know, let's be respectful. All I ask you is not to let your children run around. That whole time the kids were running around so loud in there. And it was so hilarious because he was talking about like the meaning of the, you know, the baptism and how like after today, you know, it's basically the baby or the kid is newborn into a new person of Christ. And why is it that these kids turn into devils when they're getting baptized? They're like screaming their lungs out, like if they're doing like an exorcist. I was like,
Right.
what? I was so traumatized, but it was so bad though.
You're right. That does happen. It's very common, and that's when they start crying.
And then I was like, well, then why are we traumatizing these kids thinking they're getting like they don't know what's going on?
Right.
But it was so weird, and I was so annoyed because I literally couldn't hear nothing he said. Like I couldn't hear the sermon, and I'm like, well, then what is I don't get it. And then I was like, the parents can control their children, little devils. And I was like, well, I guess that's why they get getting baptized to see. But see, I'm turning into that lady that everything bothers her. I don't know. Maybe it's my energy.
Maybe it's your energy.
Am I
at that your frequency
like,
that day?
She's like, girl, you need a
I'm
lot of work.
not picking up on that right now.
She's like, you need a lot of work. We need to talk about that. But yeah, so I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, my mom's super, like, she's always fighting with the kids playing soccer outside. Well, she lives in Mexico, but it's because the kids like to kick the ball against her
windows or
her windows or
door.
her door. And she's like, why? Like, and now I get it. I'm like, like I said, nothing will bother me. Now everything bothers me. And I'm like, am I getting old? That's not aging gracefully. That's becoming a whole grumpy old lady.
Well, the good thing is the first step is that you're recognizing it.
At least I admit.
We're laughing at it. And so the next step is for you to maybe do a little an adjustment.
Adjust your energy. And we're going to talk about that.
Yes, we will.
But Miriam, tell us a little bit about this whole life coaching, and I'm super interested to know you. And how long have you been doing this? I mean, actually I now that I think about it, I know so many people in the Latino community that are like either in life coaching. I have some. The energy reading is different from I know somebody, Trisha, from town. And she does like this spiritual reading. What is it? Medium? What they call it?
Yeah, mediumship. It could be a medium. Whatever comes up when I do a reading, it could be, psychic abilities. It could be like whatever the guides and the energy of the person calls for. Sometimes, yes, a past loved one will come up and share a message in the reading, or I will just start describing what I'm seeing to the person, and then the person will say, oh yeah, this is so and so and so and so. But I don't really set it up that way. It just happens.
And that's super interesting because, and it's not to be funny, but like I said, I know actually more people now than before. And again, because we're older and we connect to different people than when you're younger. You know, you stick to your little crew. But like all of the stuff, because you're Latina, right? Where are you from?
So born and raised in Los Angeles.
LA
LA girl.
I kind of got that vibe because I was like, she's not from Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara is my home now because we've raised our two boys in Santa Barbara, got married in Santa Barbara. And I'm very connected with the community, but definitely LA is my town.
That's
LA
so cool.
is the culture of LA is just different. My parents are from Mexico. And
Mexico City?
No, from Morelia, Michoacan. Michoacan, yes.
Oh.
And a small little town, but they, that we actually I took my kids to this past May, and it was amazing sharing all the culture. But I think what you were saying about the culture does play a big role in connecting people and in looking at, once I started doing this energy work, this intuitive work, out of, what was really happening is that I've done mental health for over 15 years. And I've been in sessions with clients and, a lot of trauma work, a lot of stories. And every time I connected with people, I always felt that there was more that I was getting to than just like the clinical skills that I was taught. And there's a lot of like personalismo that we call it, like in therapy, and then there's more to it. Like I was getting information that I already knew. Like I knew like a client was telling me a story, but they weren't really telling me the full story. right? So more of that's where the intuitive work was coming through.
Yeah.
And then even in the culture, once I started exploring more of my culture, you know, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, they had a lot of intuition.
They're the best. Like, I mean, they knew how to read people.
Absolutely.
Like, they would tell you right away, esa mujer no. No te juntes con ella.
Right.
Ese hombre no es para ti.
All of that.
Or they were like, está haciendo brujería. Like, they all knew all that stuff.
Right.
And like, how?
Right, exactly, right?
Like,
and just because it was all those, so I started listening to the stories and asking the questions, and that was opened up also a different world of like, when I started sharing this gift that we all really have, but I started kind of practicing it more, then everyone in my family understood it and was just like, yeah, that's just, you know, and they started talking about their own stories. And my dad is also very spiritual. He's always shared his own stories, and he's very intuitive, and he's gotten himself in and out of a lot of situations, I think, because of his intuition. And it was just something very natural that started happening. And now what I do, my passion is that I help individuals connect with their intuition in very practical ways. Because when I was learning this, I would say, oh, but I don't even look like that person. I don't know how to even start to like say like somebody that taps into their intuition or does mediumship or psychic. Like one, I would say that's just a lot of work, or like, I don't even know how to be that. But there's really practical ways that you can start tapping into your intuition in everyday life. And so that's what I teach. And also with anxiety, a lot of anxiety comes up because we're not really listening to our intuition and what it's trying to tell us. Or it's so coming up and we don't want to feel the feelings.
Yes. So you like just pretend or...
Yeah. So pretend or just avoid or just, you know, and then it's like it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And once you actually, so what I teach my clients and myself, especially in business, is to learn where is that anxiety coming from, to instead of like run away from it, to like just get curious about it. Right. And
to find out what's causing it. It's so important because I think it's I feel like this generation, like talking about like our children probably, or the teens, the young adults now, they are something else. Like, I feel like for us, I don't know, again, it's because our parents were very, like you said, very aware, or like that intuition that they had. And I don't know if it's because, some people are like, maybe that's just trauma because everything was malo, everything was, you know, like danger, like, but watch out, you know, like, o mucho ojo. But I definitely think they passed that on to us, like to have that intuition and to really like listen to our gut. And but now I feel like this new generation, even now myself, even though that I know, sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm being dramatic.
Yeah.
Or no, it's not. I'm like, I'm maybe making it up in my head. But I also think it has to do a lot like with now a lot of people just follow instead of listening to themselves.
Exactly. So you're looking externally. So a lot of this, when I started, so anything I practice, I do myself. Like a good therapist is going to have a therapist that they see. A good coach is going to have a good intuitive coach that they see.
Yes.
So when I started practicing, I was doing really the work on myself. I didn't start learning this to do a business out of it. I started doing this because I knew that I was there was more to what I was getting with clients. And in my personal life, with my children, they're very intuitive. I have 2 boys, and they're very intuitive. And I wanted to see how I was going to be able to support them and be able to allow them to grow in that and not get, because the older you get, the more distractions there are, like you're saying, like social media, you know, people talking, distractions in technology, distractions, and just a lot, right? So what you have to do is almost like unlearn some of that, not unlearn it, but like set specific times to be on your own, to check in with your own intuition. It doesn't have to be moments in silence. That's what people always think too, what I teach people. Mindfulness doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to have you sit in silence for 5 minutes. No, that's not what I teach. If you want to do that later on, that's amazing, great. But people are afraid of sitting in silence, and that's okay because things are going to come up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to sit in silence, but I have too many thoughts. I think a lot, and I overwhelm myself thinking about everything. Like, I am already thinking about next year. Like, I am so, like, but again, because of life, we all have busy lives, and then we have our kids, and then we have this. So if I'm like, before I go to bed, right? Like, I turn off my phone. Like, I don't turn it off, but I put it in silent. Because honestly, I get like so many notifications and messages and emails, and that sound wakes me up. So I had to turn it in silence, which is bad because in case of an emergency. But I hope nothing, but they can call my husband. But I'm like, it's when I'm just there in bed and trying to relax, and kind of like I'm trying to like quiet my mind and my brain because it's 1,000 all day long. I think about things even more. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do you stop it?
And that's a great question. That is, first of all, that's completely normal and natural. So what I would suggest for someone like that is for you to try to set some time off before you're actually in the bed to sit in silence before that and start journaling a little bit of this, or just write it down. Literally last night I woke up like at 3 a.m. thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot to call the roofer for one of our properties. And I'm there at 2 a.m. deciding if I should really wake like fully up to set a note, or I will remember the next morning. Well, guess what I did? I had to like set a note because I couldn't go back to sleep. Right. Yeah. So sometimes the little activity that you can do is like try to journal before you're going to sleep to get those thoughts out. 'Cause those are good thoughts, right? Yeah. That you're having, like, or ideas, or sometimes there are anxiety provoking thoughts, but you still have to release them some way. True. So that you can get to bed to be able to fall asleep and relax. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, because I mean, not just me, but again, everybody has so much going on, and sometimes we can't turn off our brain, and that's why people, like, I don't do this at all, but especially with time change. Oh my god.
Oh, that's been hard.
I have to do like melatonin or something to get myself to relax, because it's like, I'm like I said, like I'm in 1,000, and plus, just in like in general right now, like we're in this time where it's like so much going on. Yeah. And it gets me like stress for, my friends, my family, myself, my daughter, she's starting college next year, and it's like you hear all these like crazy stories, and then like what's going to happen with financial aid and what's going to happen with it, so it's just, I'm like thinking all day long, 1,000. So I definitely need to find ways to, I mean, the podcast is a good outlet for me because like, even if I don't have a guest, I'm recording myself, but I'm like recording, like, it's like, I always also think about the podcast like my life journal, because I talk about like things that happened to me from childhood to now, or like, so it's kind of like I release, it's like my journal, but I don't write it down.
That's what I was thinking when you were talking earlier, and you were talking to me about this podcast and how it started. So one of the things that I also talk about in sessions with clients is sometimes clients are like, but I don't know what to do, how to be, I'm not creative. I get that a lot with women, right? And I tell them, okay. And I always take a breath, because that is one of my words. When they say that, I'm always tell them, you are absolutely creative. We just need to find the way that you can express your creativity. And creativity is something that you're going to do for yourself. Don't create thinking like, oh, I have to do it this way to reach this person. I have to do it that way. It's like you first create it for yourself, like you're saying, right? You're speaking it for yourself, and then some people will connect with it, right? But if you start thinking already, I don't know if so-and-so is going to connect, then you're already in your mind, and you're not really being as authentic as you can. Yes.
And this was that whole thing with the podcast, that the one of the reasons that I started is because I was part of other podcasts, or part of like groups and media, but you can't be authentically yourself, because there's always like rules or things, or you have to follow a specific script or a specific group of people, depending on what the show is about or whatever. So I was like, I want to create a space, first of all, for myself,
right,
to feel identified, because I just couldn't find that. Like, I do follow a lot of people. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and I like certain things of like a little bit of here, a little bit of that. Right. And it's funny because when I first started, I was like, I'm not creative. Like, I'm not creative in the sense like to do like I don't know, like projects or things like that, I have a lot of ideas, which is creative, but I just cannot turn them into like, you know, I have so many friends. They do so many cute little birthday parties, or they do like cute little like businesses. You know, and that's what that creative was.
Well, that's the thing that's what I tell clients. I say you can't be good at everything, right? And your creativity is going to look different than the other person's creativity. Then you know, so your creativity, you're speaking. So what during the readings, what I also do is help people tune into. Part of intuition is what is your sense that you're more creative with. So what senses? So we have the sense of seeing, the sense of hearing, the sense of feeling, the sense of touch, of smell, right? And for you, it sounds like the sense of hearing, because that's connected to also your throat chakra. If I were to read you, I would probably see that your throat chakra is your way that you express yourself.
Very loudly.
It could also be creatively a way when you journal, or the way you communicate with your partner or with your children. For some people, it might be expressively through art, you know, so there's different ways.
I'm a good communicator. People tell me that, not just obviously because of my career, but like in life, people say like, you can communicate your feelings pretty well without like getting upset or whatever, or could listen to people without like judging them or whatever. So I feel like I can communicate pretty well, but I'm like, of course I had my creative thing is chisme. Like, how is that a good thing? So very creative for chisme, but you know, and it's okay because I always like to turn negative to a positive. So chisme, people see it as a negative thing.
What I think that it's also a way to relax a person and share a laughter, and you know, and sometimes I do see in the readings that the person, a way for them to express their feelings or what they're holding in is to first start with laughter.
Yeah. Because
when you start with laughter, you're using a full body experience, right? Talk about breath and like voice, and you know, sometimes we laugh and we can't even stop, or like crying, or like, because it's just like a full body experience.
Yeah.
So sometimes even the reading, I've gotten where the guides are telling me like that the person maybe needs to go to or listen to something that's gonna, like a comedy show, or maybe like, you know what I mean? Because then that's a way of your expressing and having a full body experience, so that later on you can feel the other feelings that are underneath.
Yeah, that's very important. I laugh for like when I'm in and I sometimes when I share like personal stories and they're like, you know, hard times or a trauma, I laugh. And I am working on it, because it is a good thing, you know, to laugh or to reflect back on things that were hard, and now you can laugh about it and you're not like crying or upset. But I do feel like I also need to cope with things more in a serious, because I always felt like I always been the jokester. So sometimes people didn't take me seriously when I would tell them that something was going on. They thought like I was joking, or that I was lying, or I was being dramatic or exaggerating, because I was always that like extra person. Like I'm always like loud, laughing or making jokes of things, and people wouldn't take me seriously. But again, now I use it for a positive thing, because that's why people love the podcast, because they're like, you're talking about like, you know, hard topics about like, you know, the state of the world they're in and stuff, but you make it lighthearted, where I don't feel as stressed to listen. Because you know, when you listen to the news or something, we're so stressed out about everything, and the way that I express it, I try to be like, if again, I'm talking to a friend, like I don't want it to be, we need to talk about things, you know, that is happening, but I don't want it to be so like I'm not, you know, like I said, if I'm in a professional setting, obviously I know how to like speak to people in a professional setting, but this is not what the podcast is about. It's for everybody to have a space to share our thoughts and opinions without like being judged on the way that we feel. Even though that, like I said, we listen and we do judge. Well, it's because sometimes people need to hear the truth. Like I feel also that what happens too, like people sugarcoat things, and I used to sugarcoat everything, like to not hurt people's feelings. But again, people wouldn't take me seriously, and I'm like, I am telling you, this is what you're doing. I'm not trying to be rude. Like it's again, I'm not like a rude person, but I would like, when I'm telling, like, because they will ask me for my opinion, and I'd be like, well, you're doing this, and you shouldn't do this. But then we would do it jokingly, and they wouldn't take it.
Well, I mean, I am a believer. The way I work is very direct. Of course, I do have a skill of presenting information. Just like in therapy, you know, the information was heavy at times. And even with these readings, it's like a faster way to get to the bottom of situations because things come up in readings that obviously it's in the person's energy. So, like, say, for example, if the person is having a challenging time communicating something with their partner, or if, you know, they have, you know, a loved one that had passed and they haven't processed, like things like that. So it comes up really fast. And I definitely present it in a delicate way, but you have to be clear and not sugarcoat things, because obviously I believe that the person is there just as much as they are there for me during the reading. I'm there for them, meaning like it's an aligned interaction. Like even the way that we, you know, met that day, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't even gonna go that day. Like I had so many things. It was, I think, on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And look at us now. Right?
Yes, because
and we sat together. There were so many people there, and
it was just meant to be.
It was just meant to be.
It was
and
our
so
vibe.
many things are like, meant to
I
be.
want to sit here. I like her vibe.
So many things in this work are so meant to be. There's so many what I call synchronicities. I don't say coincidence. I don't use that word anymore. When people use the words coincidence, I ask, well, was that really a coincidence, or was there? What do you think? If it wasn't, what do you think the purpose would be of this happening, or of this person? You know, you think about someone and then you run into them like a week later or things like that.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think if it wasn't a coincidence? What do you think the meaning behind it? Because sometimes people don't act on those synchronicities that I call them, to reflect on them, or to make the phone call, or to make that connection, and then the opportunity just passes. And and you lost the opportunity.
Yes, and you know, I think that it's super interesting because we grew, you know, well, I mean, I wouldn't say everybody, but how I grew up, a lot of the times was that we didn't process, like you said, like this whole concept of getting to know your energy and process things. And like you said, like maybe somebody that has passed comes through, like their spirit comes through. Before, it was all like taboo kind of thing, you know, like oh, like if you felt like a sign from somebody, it was kind of like, I mean, because I grew up in a Christian home, it was like the devil. That's not the diablo. Eso no es, you know, like you're just imagining things, or if you had again, like like I said, like a bad vibe of something, you were thought to just be like, don't say anything.
Yeah, or estás exagerando.
Estás exagerando, yes. And what I was trying to get at with connect to what you said is that it was crazy because the week of that event, I was also like, I just felt so off. Like so off. I was not gonna go. My friend's dad had just passed, and he was also a client of mine for a long time. So I kind of felt it. Besides, because obviously you're hurting for your friends, but you also like had some sort of connection with this person. And I just, you know, I was just sad. I was like, and just with everything, it was like a heavy week. And sometimes, you know, you have those moments when especially when you're doing something for yourself, like what the podcast is. Sometimes you don't have a good week with, you know, the downloads or with the feedback that people get. Like people start sending me messages that I was kind of being a little bit negative about everything. And I don't think and that's what's interesting, that sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe I should hold back and not speak about certain things anymore, because like, again, people are taking it as like a negative instead of like seeing my point of view. But I'm like, no, like this is my point of view. This is, you know, it's a different perspective of theirs. If they're taking it like if I'm being negative, then that's their way of thinking, you know. But I'm like, this is how I feel. I have, you know, a right to express myself. But so yeah, like I was feeling a little down, and I was like, oh, that's so like, and I was like, I need something good. Like I need something positive. And then, you know, my friend told me like, oh, like you should still go, because I was supposed to go with her, and I was like, you're supposed to go, and I was like, I'm not as scared of meeting people, so I'm not like the person that I would never show up to an event just because I'm scared to like go by myself.
On your own.
No, like I'm not that type of person. Which sometimes I should maybe like, since I show up to different areas and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't go by myself. But I'm just that person. Like I know I will meet people and I will talk to people. Like I'm not just gonna stay quiet. But I think that it's so crazy, because now that we're talking about it, and I even like after that event, I recorded some stories because I just felt so good.
I remember I saw that.
I felt so happy.
And
I was like, this is what I needed for my boot. And then and I sat with you.
Right.
And you're just like a life coach. I knew it. It was
the vibe. Yeah. and the same way, like that day I was so busy, like we were saying, and then I know that when I leave those places, like that, those particularly with the Latino giving circle, it's such a good energy that you leave with hope, that you leave with just like a good energy and like
purpose. Like you feel like you're doing that. Like you feel like there is good people. There.
That there is good people out there, and
they think like you, feel like
particularly right now. And going back to what you were saying right now with the times and the stress, and yes, everyone's anxiety is heightened for sure, and I've seen that, and especially right now that the holidays are coming, that's a whole nother time where the anxiety is heightened, and there's a lot of financial stressors as well. And so this is the perfect time to try to check in with, so what I do with clients is I check in with their mind, their body, and their energy. And let me tell you a little bit of what that means. So the mind, when I did mental health, I did a lot of mind work, like cognitive restructuring, which is like trying to change the person's cognition of how they, the beliefs that they had growing up. What do they want to keep? What do they want to let go? What works for them? What doesn't? Where does your mind go when you're thinking positively? What does your mind go when you're thinking negative? How to change it? Okay. So that's what I did in therapy. Then the body stores a lot of trauma in the body, right? And also to make things, to really clear your energy, you have to really connect with your body. Your body is your biggest intuitive messenger. Your body is your biggest intuitive messenger.
It's true.
So what is your body telling you, right? And so when you're anxious, you want to disconnect from your body because you don't want to feel the anxiety. I feel it in my stomach when I feel anxious.
Oh, me too.
Some people feel it in their migraines or head or in their shoulders. So they want to disconnect. So I teach people how to connect with their body, right? Through simple movement. It doesn't have to be the exercises that I do, but I put that on my social media page just to kind of get people to an idea. And then the energy, how do you protect your energy and how do you clear your energy, right? So meaning protect your energy because we are in spaces with a lot of people. And so we do start picking up on the energy. Even on social media, I've seen in readings where like someone's reading something on social media consistently and they're picking up on that energy. It's fascinating. And once I brought it up to this person's attention, they realized like, oh my gosh, like they just had to do a little bit of a shift of like how much social media they were taking in on particular subject. So the energy, so I teach people how to clear your energy also because you're carrying people's energy, right? Yes. And I used to do this in therapy. It's so intuitive. Like in therapy, no one really taught me this, I think. And although I did a Latino mental health, like a specialty, and I think we did have a curandera from New Mexico, and she taught us a little bit about that, interestingly. But anyways, I used to, when I would go from one room to the next, I would like clear, kind of wash my hands, like not really with water because I didn't have time, but more like I would just like pretend like I was washing them, but energetically, like, and I was more doing that so that I wouldn't take one client's problems to the other one. I wasn't doing that so much for myself, but it was also like a little shift, and that is really like I was doing like a little cleanse, and I don't even, now I know because I've learned all this. Right. So energy sits on your partner's energy.
Oh yes.
I've read partner's energy. I'm only able to read someone's energy if they allow me to read it. So I can't just like start reading people's energy, which I wouldn't even want to. I don't want to hold that much.
Right.
But have read energy, and your partner's energy really becomes your energy.
I believe that in therapy they taught me that. But also, like, I just want to say, my husband, was a little bit negative Nancy when I met him. I mean, he was young too, you know, and when you're a teenager, everything is horrible and depressing. But I just want to say, I brought him a lot of joy. He is very nice. Because we're so opposite, like in our personalities, he's more serious, very reserved. And like I said, I'm always like, and again, it's not that I'm always happy, but I like to reflect happiness because that keeps me going. Like if I'm having a hard day, like I don't want to cry because that's going to make me feel worse. I want to like laugh and I want to be happy. Even though that I'm having a bad day, I'm still going to laugh about it. I don't know. That's just like, I think that's
just the way that you,
yes.
Yeah.
But I do strongly believe in partners' energy, especially, the older that we get, we learn more about ourselves and our obviously relationships, but then you hear about your friends' relationships or your, you know, like family. And I feel like sometimes a lot of the time that's why people separate, because one person just brings you down with their energy and they don't know how to balance themselves. Or some person just doesn't want to, and they want to stay in the same space, and one person wants to grow and the other person is holding you back. And yes, I truly believe in that.
And that is definitely, life happens. And my energy, you know, I try to do rituals every day to keep my energy, and that's what people need to find. And that's what I help people find, different ways. What's going to work for you is maybe not going to work for me, right? And so, you know, a lot of it is like trial and error, but also like with the energy readings, you kind of get an idea of like what the person enjoys. Like, for example, going back to what I was saying about the senses, like chefs, for example, they have a gift. Everyone has a gift that they share. Sometimes it becomes your work. Sometimes it doesn't. Like chefs, for example, their gift of their intuition is taste. So they create masterpieces in the way they cook, right?
Right.
There's, you know, what about like hairstylists? Like they're all like these are what people are bringing to the world. Like I call it the medicine to the world. So it's like with entrepreneurs, I say, don't be afraid of marketing your business. Like you're sharing your gift to the world. Yeah. You know, don't think like you're just like overselling, you know, your product or your...
Or being like say like, oh, it's sometimes because it happens to me when promoting the podcast, it could be like, oh, mine is not as good as this and so, like how it looks, the aesthetic of it or whatever, or the presentation. But no, it's like everybody's going to be different. Like obviously I don't want mine to be the same as the other person.
Right. And so that makes you unique and different.
Yes. And you can't be afraid of that. Like showing what your baby is, your business, your whatever you want to project to the world. And it good that it's different. You don't want it to be the same.
Absolutely. That's what I tell my kids every day. I feel like, you know, because they're like, well, so-and-so, you know, they're at the age, I have a 12-year-old, almost 13-year-old, and it's at that age where they're comparing, you know. And
you ask them anything, they're like 6, 7. Like, what in the world is that? Like, what? I still don't get it. My daughter, obviously, she's like, don't ever say that. Don't ever do that. But then I'm like, well, what is it? Like, can you explain it to me? Thankfully, she doesn't do it. But it's like, I do hear like my nephews, or you ask them something and they're like 6, 7. So it's like, I'm like, is it like más o menos? Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, can you communicate properly?
Yeah, it's like they say it consistently, but the moment you say it, it's like,
but you taboo. Know what? That is one of my secrets, just FYI. Like, just in anything for my daughter, if like say she says like something, right, that she wants to do, and I mean, instead of saying like my mom be like, "Ay, eso no, ¿qué es eso?" No, I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's super cool. Like you should totally do it." She's like, "Oh, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna do it."
Forget it. Right?
Yes, or like something to wear that I'm like, ¿cómo te vas a poner eso en la calle? You know, but I'm like, "Oh yeah, it looks. Oh yes, that is so cute. Maybe I'm gonna put it on too." She's like, "Never mind." Oh, so that's my trick. I always, instead of like actually saying what my mother used to say to me, I like think it's cool, and then she doesn't do it. Yeah, that's my trick.
I gotta try that.
Honestly, it works. It has worked until this day, so it works.
I wonder.
Like I'm telling you, like even like for a party, she's like, you know, like, oh, a curfew. Never tell her about a curfew. She's home by like 10, 9.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, if your kid is taking advantage, then obviously you eventually will have to adjust. But my daughter has never had a curfew, and she's always home early.
Well,
that's just, I'm like, oh, the only one time because she tried to play me, but she knows better. But that was like a miscommunication in all parties. So it wasn't like she did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because, but anyways, try that.
Yeah,
it does work.
I don't have
honestly.
to set curfews yet because, we still transport them everywhere.
Yeah.
But we just got the 12-year-old a cell phone, which we've been putting off for the longest.
It's so hard with that.
But now it's to the point where it was an inconvenience for us, for him not to have it because of sports and like extracurricular activities.
Yeah. Yes, I get it. I totally get it. It got to a point. But, and it's funny because with the whole social media thing and everything, I didn't let her have social media until she was like in high school, but I was never like, I'm going to check it weekly and you need to give me all your passwords. Like I never said that. It is like, but I think my daughter knows because I know everybody. She knows that I will find out. Like I will always, and I'm such a good, like I said, I'm a really good research person. So I don't need to have your passwords.
Get to the bottom of
I
it.
will find out. So that's what I'm saying. Like she
any
knows
good
that.
Latina mom.
Oh yes, you don't need to be internet savvy or like a professional IT. We're the original IT.
And it's funny because I tell my son that I do tell him I'm going to check this, I'm going to check that. Am I actually have the time to do that? No,
honestly,
but I just tell him that.
But it's, you have to keep an eye. You need to be smart. But I think it just all depends on the child and as the time comes. But I'm thankful that I haven't had any like crazy stories. There were certain things that but I was more like a talk, like saying, hey, like I saw this in your comments. I don't think like somebody commented on her post and I'm like, I don't think they were trying to be nice. So maybe you should like not be friends with that person. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't think she even like thinks about it that way. But then I was like, that was kind of rude. Like, so I had to tell her, like,
and that's so interesting. Even with social media, again, going back to the anxiety, like I have seen a lot of anxiety, being caused by the external, and social media is a big one. People show, a lot of times people show just all the positive, all the greatness, and that's amazing. I mean, my social media platform is kind of helping people show that, but at the same time, I've been through a lot as well too, and I'm not afraid to like say that and to share it. And it's interesting because I don't know. I don't know if it's age or if it's this intuitive work, but like I want to help people. So for me, I'm okay with sharing that because it's just serving a purpose. So it makes it even more okay for me to share that. But sometimes for the younger people, they're just looking at like on so-and-so, it worked out perfectly. And now they have the marriage and now they have the kids and now they have but because I am always been really like how you say, you can read the energy. You're like, that's not really, that image is really not what it is.
Yes.
We're not going to go there with the cheese man, but.
No, yeah. And the thing is like, I am very like that too. Like in my social media, it's all over the place, but in the sense where like, I'm pretty honest with people. Like, just say like people ask me something about my personal life. I'm pretty honest in the sense where like I will tell them like the truth, but I'm not going to give all the details because, you also have to respect people's privacies. Like, in this case, my partner, but we're honest. Like we're never been like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of like you said, people post the good, right? Only the good, the good, the good. And in my case, also I had to think about that. Like I'm exposing myself by being a public person and or even like having a public social media. People are gonna judge you. People are gonna, but I don't think I would have been able to do it like when I was younger. That is something. First of all, my mental health was not there. I was not obviously secure of myself. I had a lot of things. So I think that now me being in my late 30s, I'm glad I did it at this time because I don't think I would have like survived, like in the sense where like I would have kept going. I would have been very discouraged, especially with comments that you get. And I don't care like to post me with the chongo, with no makeup, whatever. I don't care. Of course, we all have insecurities, but I'm like, before I wouldn't post anything because I'm like, oh, I need to look perfect. Because all these girls post like, oh, looking cute. And then like, or like I said, like the video podcast, right. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put myself together. I have to, now I record in my pajamas. I don't even care. Well, it's because it's like, it's you're not, I'm not perfect.
Well, yeah. And I think that what you're saying, when you're saying that, or the way I see it is that when I am posting or when I'm sharing, it's like a direct connection with source. What I mean with source is with God. Like, it's like not even you just wanting to it's like you wanting to get it out, and it doesn't matter how it looks. Like even this morning, like I had a beautiful walk and I just had a thought like that I wanted to share. And like the video wasn't that great and there was like a light, and I had a moment where I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like, who cares? Like, I just want to get the message across and see if it helps anyone or if they connect with it, and done. And like, bye. I don't have time to like spend more on it. Like, done, post, and exactly. You know what I mean? But I agree with you that when you're saying that, I think like this intuitive work that I'm now focusing more on is something that I've always had. It's about going inward instead of looking outward again at like another training or another project or another thing. It's going inward, and we all have that ability. It's very instinctual. And that's why kids are very intuitive, because they don't have all the noise yet.
True.
But once they start getting the noise, and I know this because, you know, one of the things I've shared a lot of this with my boys now that I'm doing it. In the beginning, my son would question some things. And even, you know, I was also brought up, you know, with Catholicism, and, you know, but when I did share this with, I mean, I have in my family, I have uncles that are a priest, for example. When I brought this up to him, we had a lot of shared experiences. Luckily, I, you know, had a lot of shared experiences. Luckily, I mean, because I was able to talk to someone that was supporting me and was saying, wow, this is, I get what you're saying. And even my, the church that I belong to in Santa Barbara, the priest is very open-minded, and he does like science experiments in, you know, the homily, you know, and so it's very, it's all aligned. Like, it's all aligned. Of course, I am going to get here and there, possibly those people that are questioning, but really my job is not really to transform anyone. It's just to be available.
Correct.
When the person is ready. And sometimes I feel like I was exposed to this many years ago, like the idea of me possibly doing this. And I was like, I don't even know who to ask. I don't even know where to go. This person that has read my energy like years ago doesn't even look like me. She's like an older Caucasian woman. That's not really what I look like. And I didn't identify as a curandera.
Right.
So like, I was like, where do I go? And I ended up finding like this Cuban American, intuitive reader that I followed on social media, that I was like, oh my gosh, she's just like me, and she has the religious background, and, you know, and so that kind of was like my little, the intuitive like synchronicity that I followed. I could have easily not followed it.
Right.
But I think that once you have it, just like how you said, when you had during the pandemic, like something told you, this is what I need to do. Yes. It was probably your guides telling you,
this is the time.
This is the time. During the pandemic was a high anxiety time, and I was getting migraines. I was getting weird symptoms that doctors were like, there's nothing we can find. But it was really, I think, me picking up on a lot of anxiety from people, and me not going inward and really trusting.
Right.
So it's amazing that you say that, because when you are really at your worst sometimes, or getting there, if you're able to find a creative outlet to be expressive, it's so important. It could be a turning point.
Yes. And it is difficult, I feel, for people to find.
It is.
It is very difficult, and it's not like it should be a natural thing, but which once you, like I said, once you maybe get a help, like somebody like yourself, where you can kind of like bring it out of you, or discover what your creative, you know, whatever creativity you can do to express all your energy out. Yes. But it should be a natural thing, I feel. But then again, it's our mind plays also so much so much part of us discovering ourselves. Sometimes there's like blockers that could be from trauma, from again growing up in a generation that where you were just like anything that has to do with feelings or thoughts or opinions didn't really matter. You had to like just suppress them. So we live in the totally different generation, totally different times where we're more open or willing to learn, or even like our generation, I feel like we're just tired of living in that such a like close state of mind that most of us have found a way to discover our true selves, or to, like you said, in this case, like to discover your energy, your creativity, whatever you're meant to do, or you're naturally gifted. And but it is difficult for certain generations, I feel.
Yeah, and I think it's getting more difficult for this generation of so much technology, and it's because it's a distraction, right? So we have to really set time aside. Whereas before, you were out in nature and you would walk more, and you would now it's like
you were more social too.
Set time, and the social aspect is huge, right? Yeah. I was reading the other day that in the future that people are going to want to pay for social interaction. Oh my Isn't that fascinating?
Well, they can pay me all they want. Bring it on. Make me rich. And I'm just kidding. No, but you know, it's so funny because before the social, like, you know, again, I feel like before people in a sense were more family orientated, where like you will always hang out with your family. Like either carne asadas, the weekend, Sundays. You know, grew up with Sundays as family day. So we were always go to my nana's house, or my tias after church and everything, or my family, like my parents and my sisters will go somewhere. It was like Sunday, right? But that was kind of like Sunday was the thing. But my mom, yes, I know that she has some friends and some coworkers like from childhood, but honestly, like we always hung out with aunts and uncles, and now you hardly ever hang out with I mean, not everybody, but I feel like that's just not a thing. You hang out more with friends, or you're stuck at home and social media, gaming, streaming, whatever the new way to socialize is. But I do find that like before, the chisme was about like the tia, the uncle, the cousin, like the drama that was going on. And I don't even know what the hell is going on with anybody, because I don't really pay mind to that. But I'm paying mind to everybody else's chisme in the world. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just different.
It does. It is different. It is different times. Yes.
I feel like back in the days though, the negative part was like we spent so much energy in the negative, like family dramas.
Yeah, it was the entertainment probably, right?
That was our entertainment. That was es Doña Laura en vivo.
So going back to so the social interaction, yes. So one of the things that I've been doing recently is I've been hosting social events wellness events in Santa Barbara.
Oh, yes. I wanted to talk about that.
Yes. And because I do, you know, most of my readings aren't through Zoom unless it's someone that's local. And if they want to set up a time, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, I've read people like in the United Kingdom, and it's like the energy is not, the person doesn't have to be there in front of you. But what I've been doing recently is doing wellness events in Santa Barbara. And so this last one that we did last month was like one where I had a sound healer. So like a sound bath. Yes. Monica Sanchez from Oxnard, who's amazing. And to relieve stress, to calm, you know, anxiety, you know, there's a lot of studies on sound healing. And then my trainer, who's Natalie, who does like, I just wanted the people to kind of do some mindset work while they were working out. So that's something that I love to also do myself. And I teach like how you can release something through movement and attract energy through movement as well.
That's part of the body part.
Exactly.
Yes.
The body. Yes.
Let me just tell you though, I'm so terrible. I'm like horrific on the body part. Like I am so bad. Like working out is not my thing.
Okay, what about dancing?
I don't. Oh, dancing, perreo sola every day, all day.
Okay.
Like
dancing is a great way to raise your frequency. That is, you're doing
like there's
it.
a lot. Like I have a few friends that do like teach like salsa classes and stuff, and I always want to go, but again, it's just like finding the time.
You don't have to go anywhere. You can do it at home.
Like people do like what is it, Zumba?
But these wellness events are like a community, because once you see, just like at the Latino Giving Circle, You know, when you start seeing the individuals there, get there and start chatting and introducing themselves, that is like already a whole nother vibe that I just love.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think like doing that, and especially when it's in local, and then sometimes you can just do with your, your friends, go to these events with you,
and like grab a friend and like do,
like my friends are really active actually, and so my husband is super athletic and he's super active. So I do it, but it's not like something that I'm going to be like, oh, let's go hiking. Let's go do yoga. Definitely not. I'm like, let's go get some chilaquiles and cafe because I need to tell you all that happened this week. You know what I mean? But it's like my friends are like, oh, let's go hiking. And I'm like, sure. And they're like, okay, and then we can just go get a little green juice after. I'm like, girl, I need some chilaquiles. I don't know. I need my concha, my cafe de olla. Yeah. Like, I need a burrito with the salsa. Like, I'm so bad. Like, I'm like that person. If you're trying to be healthy, I'm not your person.
Yeah, you're not your person.
Like, I'm going to tell you, like, we're going to eat. Like, but I just grew up that way, I guess. And it's like a bad, but you will think, because all my aunts, everybody's like, and all skinny. But, like, we grew up like, food is just like,
nurture. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one of my favorite time to eat is the morning and the breakfast. Like, I can sit somewhere with someone and just, have my cafecito, nice. Like slowly, have the little chit chat. Like, that's like my favorite.
I love that. Me too.
My favorite thing to do. So I get what you're saying, but we have to make time for everything.
Yes, of course. And I do try. I mean, I'm exaggerating. I do have to work out. Obviously, if not, I would have been like already like very heavy. But I'm just saying, like, I do try because, and I know a lot of people, they work out to release stress.
Yeah,
that's the thing that helps them. Like my husband, he loves working out. That's kind of his time, not to think about anything. Puts his headphones and he just works out.
It's a different zone. I have when I've worked out, sometimes I've gotten downloads, and when I mean my downloads, it's like that's the way I connect, like with my guides or my higher self, and get like informational downloads.
Yeah.
So it is like, there's different ways to connect intuitively. Again, some people when they're painting, some people when they're in a sound bath. The first time I had an out of body experience was in Costa Rica during a sound bath.
Ooh,
and I was just like,
really
whoa,
nice.
like I am floating on top of my body, and I can see myself.
I feel like the environment does play a lot. Like Costa Rica, I want to go there.
Yeah, you should.
It seems like so, like, to have that type of like spiritual experience. I feel Costa Rica, it's a good place. You know what I mean? Like, if you tell me like I'm going to go to TJ and do that, I don't think that will be the best.
Las Vegas. No.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to different places for different things.
Yes.
Costa Rica is definitely one of those.
Yes. I feel like Puerto Rico would be another good one to do. Could do like something spiritual.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I haven't been to Puerto Rico.
My friends went and it looked very nice. And it's like very like green as well. Like a lot. Like it's an island. Yeah. So it gets me like the vibe as well as Costa Rica. But I heard Costa Rica is just must.
Yeah, it was just like a last minute trip that we planned in a week with my kids and my husband, and it was again aligned. Like everything fell into place. It was beautiful.
I love those trips when it's like, because planning a trip is always so stressful too. But I love the ones that are like easy.
Yeah, I was like, the 2 weeks before, I was like, are we really doing this? Because I don't know anything about anything. And it just literally the week before I planned it, and it all worked out beautifully.
See, and you had that experience.
But it was all coming into, like, it was my plan, that it was all that I didn't even know then that I had.
See?
Yeah. And now when I do meditations, I go back to a particular day that I was... This is another thing that I've been doing and posting about, that when you're on vacation, you have to set time to check in with yourself, to be on your own. And it's so interesting because I've traveled before with family, and it's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard. And I remember this last time I got a little bit judged because I told my husband, my husband's great. Like, he'll take the kids on his own and and then he knows that I need my alone time. But because those are the times that I've been able to check in with my intuition the most. And some of these beautiful places that I've been to are the places that I go back to visually in my mind to feel grounded, to feel that positive energy, and to do readings sometimes. It's so fascinating. But I'm glad that I was able to have those experiences then, so that I can use them now, even though some of these places were like 2 years ago, and I still am able to connect like I had just took the vacation. It's so interesting.
No, and that is so true that you said that, because when I went to Bacalar last year, and it was for a wedding, for my cousin's wedding. So it was, everybody went, the whole family, and it was like back to back things, and it was like, it's a family. It was like our first kind of like ever family trip where like kind of the whole family went, which was amazing. It was so much fun. But I don't remember one of the days we were supposed to meet up with like my sisters and my niece and my mom and like to do something. But I told my husband, like, I need to like stay in. Like, I won't, because it's a little town. I could just meet them after.
Right.
And I was like, can you like go, and then I will meet you guys later. So yeah, but it was like, where we stayed, our like villa was so nice. And then I got to go to, it was like at the deck. And then I was just looking at the lake, and it was just so relaxing. And I was just like, just sitting there. I didn't even do anything. I was just sitting there looking and like thinking like, wow, like I'm here. Like I never thought like I would like see like it, because it was so beautiful.
Right.
Like, beautiful nature. And it was like this like infinity lake that I don't even know when it stopped or if it ever stops. But it was just like, you just see beyond like, your life, the world. I don't know how to explain. It was just so, and I was like, and that's like the highlight of my trip.
Yeah. And
even though it was like
and so right now
a
the way
beautiful event.
So I'm very visual. So my third eye is, so I'm like totally visualizing you there. And so that is something that when you are having a hard time, like you can use
like to go to that place.
Yeah, go to that place. Or even when you're not like, when these skills, like when I would do therapy regularly, I would teach the skills so that the client can use them maybe a month from now when they actually need them, when they're in distress. And so that's something that maybe once a week, like just grab your cafecito in the morning and you're drinking your cafecito and you're imagining.
Like, I wish I was in Bacalar.
No, not wish, but like your body. What I was going to tell you is your body doesn't know any different. You can visualize it and your body doesn't know if you're actually there or not. That's something that happens with trauma sometimes too, right? You have a memory and you feel like you're experiencing it. Well,
that's true.
You can also
or something
do that.
triggers you like to that trauma.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you feel the trauma in your body.
Right.
You can also work that to your advantage, that you're visualizing it and your body's having this beautiful response of calmness.
Very good point.
Yeah, so you can do that for yourself too.
See, so many great tips that Miriam just provided to us, because honestly, these are tools or tips, whatever you want to call it, to really like, I don't know about you guys, but like life just gonna keep going, and you're gonna and there's gonna be a bunch of ups and downs, because that's just life. You're never just gonna be like happy or stable, whatever people like to call. So it is important to get to know yourself, your whatever, if you believe in spiritual or energy and creative ways to distress, to find peace,
connect with yourself,
mind,
it's so important
energy. Because if you can't do that and discover your own self or know yourself 100%, it's hard for you to be 1,000% authentic for others.
Oh, absolutely.
So it is so important, and that's part of also having a healthy relationship with people, not just with your partner, with your family, with friends, with coworkers, is to really know like who you are as a person, what triggers you, like in the sense where, like, again, if you're having like a bad energy vibes at work, how to manage those.
Exactly.
How to
you
manage.
can't control the people around you, so you have to learn how to like
control yourself. But Miriam, where can people find you if they want to follow you? They want to maybe have one of your readings or join one of your wellness events. I need to go to one. I'm trying to I'm like trying to think like when I can go.
Okay.
But you know, like especially in the weekends, it's so hard because that's when like you do all the activities because you work all week. You know, so hard. But I will find a way.
Yes. I'll you can follow me on
I follow you
Instagram.
Already, yes.
So on Instagram, you can follow me at Miriam Cislo Coaching. And then right there you can look at my bio where all the information is. So you can look at whatever events I have. You can look at how to book a reading. I also have a private Facebook group called the Aligned Entrepreneur, because one of the things that I've worked on myself and with my husband is that we also have other businesses. My husband has a manufacturing business and we have a real estate investment business. And so that is for people that have that are wanting to grow and expand. And I teach you not just how to do that and decrease anxiety and market your business, but also how to be able to hold the energy of growth and money. Because that is also, you have to prepare your mind, body, and energy
that is true.
To hold that energy. Like I tell people, if you all of a sudden had $1 million+ in your bank tomorrow,
people can go crazy.
Are you going to be able to hold that energy and not sabotage the situation?
True.
Because that happens a lot, right? So you can find me on Facebook on the Aligned Entrepreneur as well under Miriam Cislo Coaching. And I do have an event coming up on this Saturday. There's still a few tickets left. It's at the Gallery Art and Soul in Santa Barbara. It's a beautiful gallery where you just walk in and it's already like you're feeling creative and inspired.
Oh, so
and
nice.
That one is a sound bath with, again, I'm collaborating with Monica Sanchez. And then I'm doing some journaling around the holidays. Holidays is a lot of anxiety and boundaries that you're having to set.
Yes.
So I'm going to be helping individuals journal and how to be able to kind of set the tone for their holiday season. To relieve the stress. Yeah. To relieve stress. And they get to take home this little journal so they can continue to journal through the holiday when you're having a stressful
when you're
time.
dealing with the family reunions that stress you. I'm just kidding. I mean, I love hanging out with my family, but it could be overwhelming if you're not used to it like all the time. Like some people, like I said, I feel like before we were used to it most of the time, but now like people are like, my mom used to say, because you know my mom grew up in Tijuana, Mexico, and when we moved to California, she was like, oh yeah, vamos a ser como los güeros, como los americanos, decía, no güeros, decía como los americanos, they only see each other once a year and they're so happy because they only see once each other. Because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a Latino thing where we hang out with family a lot. I said,
we do. My husband's,
and that's why there's no boundaries.
My husband's not you know, he's Eastern European. He's Polish, but similar to the culture. The culture is like they don't really hang out as much.
Oh, okay.
So so it's like a little bit of the culture difference where I'm just like, wait, we're not doing this, or we're not doing Sunday like, you know, dinners, or like the kids are not going over there, like at least, you know, on the weekend, you know. But I get what you're saying, and that also causes friction in families, or when there's a new child in the family and you're wanting to see with your partner how you're wanting to like now create memories for your child.
Correct.
And then you have like the traditions that that's like a conflict, and people don't even think about these things until it's like already there. Right. And then that causes a lot of conflict. So I'm trying to help people prevent all of that.
Yes.
Or kind of deal with that before it happens so that you can enjoy the holidays. And
it is true. The holidays are very stressful. The older you get, the more stress it is, because sometimes now you're like finding yourself hosting now more because you're older and now it's your turn. Or you're trying to make the best holidays for your children, or you're trying to please everybody.
The
like,
expectations.
Oh, my mom gets mad si no voy, or la suegra se siente if we
Where
don't
do we go first?
Oh,
where do we go? You know,
it's like, why didn't they ever told us this growing up? Because you know it's so hard.
Yeah, why didn't they
but you know, you need to learn how to know. But also now I know that when I become rich and famous, I'll be like, amiga Miriam, you're gonna be my life coach because I need help.
We got to start preparing right now to receive all that. So when it comes, you know,
I know. Miriam, I hope you had a blast.
Yes, I did. Wow, the time flew by.
It always flies by here around here. Trust me. I can be here for 3 hours. But I want to thank you for joining me today. It was so much fun. Get to know you a little bit more. I am going to definitely look forward to joining one of your classes. I think that will be so fun to do with my friends too. Just to like something new to do. You know, like I feel like my friends are so great because we always try new things, but like they brings us like something positive to our lives, you know? And I know my friends, like I said, they're always so active and do things because they're trying to make us all feel good and like, you know, so we don't just sit and chismear, you know, because that's also not good, but it's good for the soul, let me tell you. but I want to thank our Amigos Club. That's how we call each other, Amigos Club, for joining us today. Please follow our new friend, amiga Miriam. I'm going to put all the socials and things in the description of the episode.
Perfect.
And until next time.
Yes, until next time.
Bye. Amigos.